Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video I thought I would do a back to uni essentials, what you need to pack kind of video. Basically I don't want it to be like a full-on packing list. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you know that you need to bring plates and things like that. A bit of context, I am going into my third year at Loughborough University, so I actually lived in halls for 2 years and I'm now in a uni house. I did make a vlog on my moving in experience, so if you do want to watch that after this. But yeah, so I've put a list together of basically what I think are really key essentials for uni, especially halls and accommodation. And these are also things that you might easily forget, so I thought this might be useful if you're a fresher going into your first year, or maybe even if you're a second or third year and you can't remember what to pack. So yeah, I thought we could talk through this list, why I think you should bring these things, why I think they're useful, and yeah, let's just get into it. Also, I do just want to say I'm filming this in a heat wave. I'm filming in front of the window in my bedroom, which is not open because there would be too much noise from the main road. So I am absolutely sweating at the moment. But so I've kind of split it into categories. So the first one I'm going to start with is the bedroom. So obviously you've got your basic bedding, and one of the things I think is really important is bringing 2 sets of your bedding and also towels. So obviously 2 sets of sheets, pillowcases, duvet, quilt covers, and yeah, 2 sets of towels for the bathroom. Obviously if you use a dryer you can put them straight back on, but if you want to put them on the air, they might take more than a day to dry, especially when it gets to winter. So I think it's best to just have another set ready to go straight on, and then you don't need to worry about getting those dry straight away. Same thing with the towels. I just think it's easy to have 2 sets. And if you're worried about having the room for like 2 sets of things, you can always have under the bed storage, especially for stuff like your duvet, quilt cover, because obviously you're not going to be changing that like weekly. But yeah, if you don't need it as often, you can just put it under your bed. Another thing I've said is a mattress protector or mattress topper. I think what the difference is, I think the mattress protector is more thin, whereas a topper is a lot thicker. I personally have a mattress protector, I think it is, and I actually have a Tesco own brand one, which I think for a double was like £8. So for a single it's not going to cost that much, just because you don't know who's been in that bed before you. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that have been in that bed, and you don't want to think about who's been in that bed. So I think it's best to just have a topper and then have your sheets as well. I'm not sure if my accommodation did actually already have a sort of protector on it. I'm not 100% sure, but I still took my own anyway. And again, if you do want to opt for the more of a topper rather than a protector, which is a bit thicker, obviously that's going to make it more comfy as well, because I don't think student accommodation beds are known for their comfiness. Another thing I've said that's sort of related to bedding is a blanket, because halls can get freezing. Like, obviously you're not paying to have the heating on. Like, you can have the heating on. Actually, that's another thing, make the most of that. You can have the heating on as much as you want, because once you get into a house and you need to start paying bills, you're not going to have it on. So definitely make use of that. But also I feel like a blanket is just nice to have, especially if you're all like, if you have a little communal area and you're, you know, watching a film or something, just having a blanket is nice to just be warm in, basically. The next thing is clothes hangers. Definitely bring a lot of these. I feel like I never bring enough. Personally, I'm kind of lazy and would rather just hang things up rather than fold them, especially with stuff like t-shirts, because I feel like no matter how I fold them, they always end up creased, so I just find it easier to hang them up. The next thing is decor. I wouldn't worry, that was one of my other tips, I wouldn't worry about this too much, like taking it with you to uni, because obviously you don't want to overpack and you're not really sure what your room looks like, so you don't want to take too much. But if you want to keep some decor in mind, I definitely recommend photos as a cheap way to decorate. So you could get them from Free Prints, or is it Snapfish, I think it's called, because I'm pretty sure with both of those you get like 50 free photos a month, and then you just pay for delivery, which is like no more than about £4. Like, that's the most expensive it would be, so that's quite cheap. I also have I haven't actually updated it because there's some pretty old photos on there, so I want to change them. But I basically have like a, what is it, I think it's like an A3 poster, and then I have little squares of photos which I've had like for the last 2 years, and I'm also going to put up in here. So I actually frame that and then I put like command strips on and put it on the wall. Another thing with command strips, definitely recommend them, but do be careful because I know a lot of people have said that it's ripped like the paint off or the plaster or whatever. And I think that's basically because obviously student accommodation, some of them can be quite old. Some of them, they haven't been decorated with the most like premium things. So obviously the paint or the walls, whatever, that they are going to be a bit thin. So I guess it depends how strict they are. If you don't want to risk it, don't risk it. But they are handy for putting up frames, as well as the little, you can get the little hooks. I've used them for the last 2 years because again, fairy lights are a really good option. I had some off Amazon and they were the sort of ones that you can like hang on the wall. And I also had ivy leaves. This is like the most basic uni student decor. Like everybody has fairy lights, ivy leaves, fake plants, but what else are you going to decorate your room with? I will insert some of the decor that I've got going on in my uni room at the moment. Some of these things I've had from first year or second year, and some of the things I've bought more recently. Obviously when I go home I do take them back home with me, so I am like getting my use out of them. Also things like cushions, like nice cushions as decor in your bed. Again, a blanket can be like nice decor. Also going back to storage, I should probably take my own advice on this, but I'm going to say storage in your drawers. Obviously it depends what your room is looking like, how much storage you have, but it does actually help maximise it. I think having little like, say like containers, so you know, if you've got like all your toiletries or something, they can all go in little containers, or even things for like, I know you can get like, I've got them at home but I haven't got them here. I probably should invest in them because my drawers are not the, what's the word? They're not the most organised. You can get like little fabric ones where you can put like your underwear or little tops or whatever you want to put in there, wherever fits. I also did have in my first 2 years in accommodation, I did have a little storage cube, which I think I used it as like a little snack box basically, like any random foods I had or any like basically my mixers as well, and alcohol probably I put in there, so that and like snacks and things I used to chuck in there. I think the next thing I've got down is a diffuser because you're actually not allowed candles in student accommodation, obviously fire hazard. Again, a diffuser can be a nice little bit of decor, so maybe invest in one of those if you want your room to smell nice, and try and not eat too much in your room because obviously if you're having like spaghetti bolognese, a curry like every night, it's gonna smell. And don't leave plates and stuff in your room for too long. I know it's easy to do, but they're gonna get disgusting. I've also said a doorstop, which I think gets a lot of mixed views. I actually didn't take one to uni with me in my first year, but I was given one in like my little fresher pack. A lot of people say to use it like when you first moved in and like through the first week and stuff, so you get to meet people and people like, you know, coming in and out of rooms and everything. I did start uni in a pandemic, so obviously it wasn't as sociable then, but even like with my friends I'd just keep my door open. I actually did use it in second year as well, and we were actually told that I don't think you're technically meant to use them because again it's a fire hazard, because I think the bedroom doors are like fire doors, I don't know, so like they're the heavy ones that automatically shut. But I don't know, take it at your own risk, like decide what you want to do. But I think on Amazon they're literally like under £2, like they're really cheap. And finally, I have said an extension lead, which I do think everybody tells you, but you're not going to have many plugs in your room. And also if it, like there's not a plug near your bed and you want to like use your phone in bed or laptop or whatever, it's just easy to have the extension lead and then you can charge it and use it in bed. The next little like category I've got is bathroom. I've only got a couple of things for the bathroom. So one of the things I've said is sliders, which actually, I mean, wear them everywhere, not just in the bathroom. I actually personally had a shared bathroom as well in first and second year, and I know a lot of people don't opt for that, but that was actually like the accommodation with the shared bathroom was my first choice. I know as well in mine, I think they only made like girls share with girls and boys share with boys. So obviously it depends on your accommodation, and I know in ours as well we had 3 people sharing a bathroom, and so it wasn't that bad. And also in my second year, because we were on the top floor, the shower and the toilet were actually separate, so that was even better there. But yeah, if you've got a shared bathroom, or even if you've got an ensuite, to be honest, I think wearing some sort of sliders or flip-flops or something, just because you don't know how clean it's going to be. It's probably not going to be clean. And again, they're useful for in the kitchen and everything, like sliders or slippers, whatever you want to wear. And they're a lot like comfier, I think, and they keep your socks clean. And if you need to like quickly pop out anywhere, you can just keep them on. And if you have a fire drill, they're handy then as well. And the second thing I've said is a wash bag slash caddy. I used to use like a little sort of shower caddy basically, because again, this is more so for if you're sharing, but you're not going to have that much storage space if you're sharing with like a few people. So I found it best to just sort of chuck everything in a caddy and then take that in with me when I had a shower or something. And depending on who you're living with, like you don't want people using your products. If you've got like really nice soap and glory things, like you don't want people using those. I'm not saying that they will, but you know, just be cautious. I did actually see a wash bag in Primark, I think, the other day. It was kind of small, but I think it was like £3 or something. It was really cheap, but they do have them on Amazon as well. Next category is the kitchen. First thing I've said is lots of tea towels. You can never have enough tea towels because they get like soaked really easily, and they also get stained really easily, like especially like the white ones. So maybe opt for darker ones, but obviously it's not essential, but you know. Again, this is something I feel like a lot of people tell you, but different coloured or patterned cutlery. To be honest, I didn't even think about this. I just went for pink cutlery because I love pink. And I never had any issues. Like I was fine with that. I feel like if you've got sort of the classic stainless steel ones, you might get mixed up with people. But I did see someone say that they actually put a bit of nail varnish on the bottom of their like cutlery, so I knew that was theirs, which I think is a good idea. I've also said a cutlery tray. So I don't think I had a cutlery tray in first year, but I had like, it wasn't even a tray in second year. I had like a little tiny like box thing just to, because obviously I didn't have much. I had like 2 of everything. But your drawers are gonna get like a bit dirty. You're not gonna be cleaning them all the time. You're gonna have like all sorts of things in there because you're not gonna have that much storage space. So I would say some sort of cutlery tray or little box or something, just so they don't get dirty. Also food storage containers. So what I like to do is when I make a meal, say a curry or spaghetti bolognese or anything, I will usually make 2 portions of it so I can freeze the other one or keep it in the fridge. So it's just handy to have food containers with you. I mean, whenever you've got leftovers or something, you can just pop them in there and then they're good to go. As well as like little like food bags or freezer bags, again for the same reason. Same thing if you've got like a fresh block of cheese or something and you know you want to keep it sealed. If you just put it in like a little sealable freezer bag, then that is also going to be kept fresh a lot longer. Next thing that I have said is a Dishmatic, which I think is an absolute lifesaver. If you don't have Dishmatic, what are you doing? They're literally like a couple of quid and you get refills with it. It's just so much easier. I feel like you use less washing up liquid as well, and it just makes it so much easier, and you don't have to like touch anything manky in the sink because you've got the handle of the Dishmatic. And then the last thing for kitchen is actually an ice cube tray, because I don't know why, but I just feel like that's really easy to forget. Next category is electricals. I have put extension lead again, must have forgot that, but I've said a speaker slash Alexa. Someone probably will have a speaker, like it's not essential that every single person brings one. Maybe if you know who's going to be in your accommodation, just like ask who's bringing one basically. But I also did have an Alexa just in the kitchen, just because like I feel like sometimes if you're cooking or something or washing up and like you want a bit of music on, it's not always for like pre's and that, it's just like if you want a bit of music basically. I've also said a portable charger, just because you're going to be out and about a lot in freshers. You don't want your phone to die. It's also good for when you start lectures, because if you're like me, I always forget to charge my laptop. Like I'm so stupid that when I'm about to go to a lecture and I'm like, oh, I am on 10%. So I feel like a portable charger is just good to keep by you. Next category is clothing, and I've literally just put versatile. So basically you don't want to be bringing too many outfits. I have a few sort of tops or jeans where I know I can wear them in the day, like I know I can wear them to lectures, going out shopping or whatever, and I can also wear them on a night out. Let me tell you now as well, it's not going to be that, like, you don't have to dress up fancy. It is actually quite casual. Obviously dress how you want, but what I'm saying is that there's like not a lot, I don't think anyway, there's not a lot of pressure to like wear a different outfit every single night you go out, or do you know what I mean? Don't feel like you need to buy a million new outfits just to go out in, because you'll probably just chuck on like your favourite dress or favourite jeans or something, you know, like it's not too important, unless it's important to you and you want to buy that many outfits, you do that. But you know, it's not, I think it's handy to have outfits that you can wear to lectures and wear out. I've also put one pair of heels max, because I took probably 2 or 3 pairs of heels with me first year. Did I ever wear them? No. So I would say maybe take a pair of like black heels, like plain black heels or something that you could wear with anything, just in case you do have a fancy night or like a ball or something. But other than that, do not wear them to the club. Club floors are dirty, especially like student ones, so yeah, definitely not heels. I've also put a dressing gown, because I know right now we're in a heat wave, I am boiling, but it's gonna get cold quick. Like I feel like October and like the colder months, they come around quick. So yeah, if you don't want everyone seeing you in your pyjamas in the morning, just have a dressing gown to chuck around you in the kitchen. I've also said an umbrella, which I don't know if that comes under clothing really, but again, I feel like that's an easy thing to forget, although I don't know if I actually use one that often, so each to their own if you want to bring one. I've also done a little category just for important things. So I've said ID, obviously. If you want to get into a club, you're going to have to bring either your driving license or passport or whatever, you know, ID you've got. I have also said passport, just because you never know when you're going to need it, because if you're planning on getting a part-time job, or if your like union or uni or whatever is offering sort of casual jobs that you want to get, or ambassador or anything, you're going to need a passport so you can be like put on the payroll sort of thing, like prove your identity basically. You never know when you're going to need it, you never know when you're going to go to a different country, I guess. So yeah, it's just easy to bring your passport. Obviously if you need it at home, leave it at home, but again, each to their own. I've also said money. Obviously majority of places these days do take card and Apple Pay and that, but you never know when you might be stuck for some cash, so maybe just take like, I'd say no more than, I don't know, it depends on how you're planning on paying for things, I guess, but I would say bring about £50, because again, you don't want to be leaving that money in your student accommodation though, so again, whatever you want to bring. The next little category is a first aid kit. The first thing is plasters. I always have to have a pack of plasters in my bag, because I don't know, you just never know when you need them. You never know when you have a little accident or something, or cut yourself in the kitchen, or you know. Also standard paracetamol. You never know if you're going to be a bit ill, hungover, you know, you just need paracetamol. And I've also put any kind of cold or flu medication, because you are going to get freshers flu and it's going to be horrible. Honestly, I could not believe, I don't think I really got it in first year. Obviously we were in a pandemic, so you know, but a second year, I remember the first night I went out, like it was the first day we got there and we was going out on the same night, and I remember coming back and like, do you know, you can just feel yourself getting ill, like the throat, and the next day full on freshers flu, and it lasts for like 2 whole weeks as well. And it's really embarrassing when you go to lectures and you're just like coughing everywhere trying to stop it, but obviously the more you try to stop it, the louder it gets. It's literally the most embarrassing thing ever, but everyone's doing the same. So yeah, definitely take some sort of flu medication, although I mean paracetamol works the same, I guess. So yeah, I think you kind of just need to wait it out. There is no way around it basically. Even if you don't go out, like even if you don't go clubbing, you're gonna get it, trust me. Next one is stationery, which I am obsessed with. So I have put push pins, because you're probably going to have one of them like cork boards in your accommodation. You probably know if you do or don't. I think that was something that I forgot in first year. I forgot to bring those with me, but I put like, again, like photos, I put photos in there, and I also put any little memories I had. So I think I did have a ticket from a concert, so I put that on there. I put my freshers wristband on there, like I put little cute like memory things on there basically. Also another random stationery thing is sellotape. I feel like no one ever brings sellotape, and I did, and like all people do is ask you for it. You never know when you need it. So also put no printer, which is a bit ironic because I took a printer in first and second year, But in my defense, it was because I did used to sell things on like Depop and stuff quite often. So for me, it would have been a bit of a hassle to keep going to the library or like the printer services place and keep getting things printed off. And you know, it costs like, it doesn't cost a lot, honestly. I think it's like maybe like 5p a time or something. But yeah, if you're not printing things out that often, I would say you don't need one, and it takes up a lot of space. And finally, I've put things like a to-do list, a diary, a planner. I will insert some clips of the ones I've got. I've got one from Papier, I think that's how you pronounce it, an academic diary, which is really nice. I do also have a link where you can get £10 off if you spend over £25. It's not an ad, but I was gifted some things, but I'll show you what they look like, just because I feel like it's good to keep yourself organised, like even just a simple diary. I do have a simple 2023 diary, but yeah, I feel like it's handy just to know when your lectures are, when things are due. Like they're just handy, as well as post-it notes as well. I've got some really nice ones that are from Typo, and they say, I think they say, I will include a clip of this, but I think they say like get it done today or something. So they're really nice as a little short quick to-do list. And finally, I've just got some random things. So the first one is a pack of cards / drinking games. These are obviously good for prees. I was actually given a pack of cards in my little like freshers pack, but they're gonna get sort of ruined easily, especially if you're drinking with them, because people spill drinks, so you lose like half the pack. So it's always handy just to have several around. And you can do like a lot of drinking games with a normal pack of cards, but I know there is more specific ones that people might bring. You don't have to, but you know, they are fun. And I feel like they also break the tension up a bit, and you get to learn a bit more about your flatmates, as well as like you could just bring like normal board games as well. Like if you've got nothing to do in the day of freshers and you know you want to socialise, you want to get to know people, you can bring a board game then as well. I've also put an error down, which again I'm going to be a bit like, I was about to say ironic, it's not ironic, is it? It's hypocritical. I'm going to be a bit hypocritical because I did take one in my first year, but I never used it. And that's because the only thing is, when you use your error, especially when you're using it in your bedroom, if you've got a small room in student accommodation, it basically can get very, what's the word? It makes the room really, I want to say muggy. Is that the right word? Probably not, but you know what I mean. Like even if you open a window and everything, it makes it all warm and like, ugh. And also if your student accommodation is kind of like small and not well ventilated, that's what sort of makes like mold grow. And I'm pretty sure we weren't allowed to use it in our little like kitchen like / communal like living room area. So for me, I had to use the dreaded, well, as I don't think ours was even Circuit Laundry, it was a different brand, but the dreaded dryer in there, which guaranteed didn't work a few times, but I did get my money back. So if it ever doesn't work, just complain and you will get your money back. But I know it's really annoying, but if you do want to take an error and you've got the room for it, take it, you know. But yeah, I just paid the extra bit of money and put it in the dryer. But you know, I mean, also the washers and dryers in student accommodation, they are like bigger than normal ones, so you can fit more in there, so you don't have to do a wash and a dry as often. Speaking of washing, I have also put 3-in-1 washing pods. Obviously you can get washing in like sort of a powder form or a gel form, and then you can get your sort of fabric conditioner as well. But if you get the pods that are 3-in-1, you can literally just chuck one of them in and then you're done, which I think is way easier for like student accommodation. Like I'm in a house now and I do personally use powder and like a fabric softener, just because I can then, like, depending on the load, I can either put less in or put more in. But if you're in student accommodation, you're just probably going to be doing one massive load. Also, I haven't put this down on the list, but I've just thought of it. Bring colour catchers. I think if you get like Aldi's own brand version, they're a lot cheaper. Same with the washing pods as well, but obviously bring what you want. But yeah, so that way you can do a mixed load and you can fit more in, and yeah. Keeping in line with the little cleaning theme, I have also put antibacterial wipes. I mean, you can bring like a disinfectant spray as well, or you could buy this like later on when you get there. But you know, student accommodation can get dirty, and I feel like just having a pack of wipes on hand to quickly wipe things up is probably your easiest bet. Especially as well, I know my student accommodation personally was cleaned very well, like it was spotless, but I mean, I know not everywhere's like that, so you might want to give it a bit of a clean before you actually move all your stuff in. But you know, it just depends what the state it has been left in. And the final thing that I've got on the list is a fancy dress. So obviously you've got your fresher events like your nights out and everything, and you'll probably know if you've got a theme that you need to dress to or whatever. But also people have a lot of parties where they've got different themes, so, and especially with Halloween coming up, that's another thing. Be prepared with Halloween. If you leave it to the last minute, there's going to be nothing left in the shops, trust me, like in the costume shops or nothing, there's going to be nothing left. So maybe start planning that out a bit earlier. So I think that is the end of the essentials packing list. And if any second or third years are watching that maybe have some more suggestions or other things that they think are essential, definitely comment down below. And yeah, if you did find this helpful and you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to follow my TikTok and Instagram. And I just can't wait to start vlogging my final year of university. I have got some events that I'm going to as part of Freshers Week as well, so I will definitely be vlogging all of that, and I can't wait to just vlog this final year. It's going to be so much fun. I will see you in the next video.